cheapo multimeter review time. Today in the hot seat we've got the all-new, what's it called again? Oh yeah, the PDM-711. There you go. This is a L cheapo multimeter. This was purchased recently via Amazon, and I got it for a whopping 10 bucks Canadian. So yeah, it definitely qualifies as a cheap meter. So how's it hanging, guys? Oh, hello there, Mr. 5000. I did neglect to do the old hanging of the 5000 when I did my last review, so just to let you guys know, it does hang very well. So yeah, lots of meters over here, but let's get back to the task at hand. This is a cool looking little multimeter. I like the fact that it's got all of these colors. You know, it's this sort of basic, cheesy, cheap black housing you see in every cheap multimeter, but at least they brought it up a notch with those colors. So let's do the proverbial peel. Oh yeah. Oh, smells like cheap multimeter plastic. I don't know. Can you do a scratch and sniff? Smell that, guys. I know you can't smell it, but hey, smells good. What can I say? Now, do we have batteries? Oh, we do. We have batteries. That's a bonus. Okay, so that's in the box. Test leads, meter, and a little set of instructions. And the instructions are right here, and they are all in the pleasant form of English. Completely legible. No worries here. And I'm liking it. It's always nice to have a little instruction manual that's actually half decent, right? So let's turn on this meter and just see what kind of goodness we have. I'm going to start off in the DC mode. Now right away we're in there getting a high voltage prop because we are at 1000 volts. This is a non-auto ranging meter. I'm going to put it into the 20 volt range. Now first impression, this is a really clear, clean, verbose looking display. I like it. LCD, liquid crystal display, as most of them are. But yeah, it is very easy on the eyes. And when I was talking about the different colored variations on the meter itself, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. They do really stand out. So there's a lot of contrast, which is really nice. Well, let's check out these cheapy leads. And yeah, they're your cheap, I mean cheap leads. Okay, we'll do the pull test. And let's see. No, that's a pass. Right here. Oh, there we go. That was easy. See that? Uh-huh. Ooh, yeah, it's the pull test. All right. Hey. Okay. So, yeah, if you're going to do any sort of high voltage testing, don't use these leads. All right. But you know what? For the sake of the video, I'm going to just plug them in. Okay. So the first thing we're going to look at, or test rather, is continuity. We're going to switch ourselves down to continuity / diode, and we'll start off with the cheap leads. Here we go. Oh, wow. Really? Okay, that just sucks. Like, really sucks. Crapola leads. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've replaced the stock leads with a cheap set of good leads, and let's see if the continuity is any better. Wow. It's latched, but it is super, super slow. Okay, I don't even know if this is legal in this country, but I am putting probe masters into this cheap meter. Let's see if it's any better. Yeah, so it's no better than the good set of cheap leads, certainly better than the stock leads it ships with, but there is a huge delay, almost 2 seconds. So yeah, it's like, I was about to plug the cheap leads back in for the rest of the testing, but I picked them up and it literally just fell apart in my hands. So yeah, real crap. Right now we have the side-by-side with a DT830B, another 830 style clone multimeter, so I thought I would pit these two up against each other in terms of voltage reference comparison. We're sitting at 1 volt even on the DC power supply, showing up as 1 volt on the DT830B, the yellow guy on the left, and on the right 1.1 volt for the PDM-711. So let's keep going up in the voltage range, stopping at 7.7 volts, 7.6 showing up on the 830B, 7.8 coming up on the 711. Let's take it higher, higher, higher. Let's go up to 20 volts. And 20 spot on the power supply, 19.8 showing up. And 20.1 coming up on the 711. Let's go a little bit higher. Let's go up to 26 volts. Spot on, 26 volts on the power supply, 25.8 and 26.2 for this 711. Okay, we're gonna go all the way to the top, maxing out at 31.5 volts, 31.2 for the D830B, and 31.6 for the 711. So yeah, I'd have to probably give the edge in this case to the 711 in terms of the actual DC accuracy, and yeah, not too bad. I mean, they're pretty well in spec, I would say. Obviously the 711 is a little more on par. All in all though, as you can tell looking at the displays, quite a difference. Visually speaking, there's just no comparison. The 711 certainly is at least, gosh, I'd have to say almost 3 times the size as the 830B, so much easier on the eyes. And remember, these cheap lower end 830 clones don't have backlights. Normally they don't, and you know, when you don't have a backlight and you're in a low light condition, you definitely will appreciate the larger display. So yeah, kudos for the 711 for the big clean crisp display, because it certainly looks much better than the standard 830 clone. Coming up, more test. Now another nice feature with this low-end clone is the fact that you can actually utilize basically a standard style multimeter lead. As you saw in the opening, the cheapy leads that it shipped with were complete crap. I've got rid of those, and instead I've used another pair of cheap good leads, and yeah, there's no issues here. It fits in nice and tight. Comes off fairly easily, but I mean, if you look at the shroud on that connector, it's fairly long, but once again, yeah, this 830 clone doesn't have any problem taking a standard set of leads. So even though it ships with the El Crapo cheap leads, fear not, it should fit no problem with your half-decent set of good leads. Okay, we are hooked up to the resistance decade box. Now this multimeter is only capable of a maximum of 2000K or 2 mega ohms, so it doesn't have a very high resistance range. So if that's a problem, you definitely want to stay clear of the 711. But if you're okay with that low resistance range, you know, let's see how accurate it is. Right now we're sitting at 100,000 K, and we're pretty close, showing as 99. Bring it up to 200. Yep, fairly close. 500. Yeah, 3 counts off. 900K, 6 counts off. And let's go to 1 mega ohm. And let's see. So it's fairly close. 4 or 5 counts off. 2 mega ohm, showing us as 1.9. Taking a little while to settle. 1.9. So it's around 10 counts off. So not the most accurate meter in the world as well in terms of resistance, but yeah, it's close enough. Is it going to settle? Looks like 1.993. Okay. It's definitely not going to reach that 2 mega ohm. And if we take it up a notch, let's see, 2.1 mega ohm, you get right away we're out of its league. So yeah, we are constrained by that 2 mega ohm limit. Oh well, not too bad. I mean, it's fairly well in spec, and it is what it is, right? Next off is diode mode, and you can see that it is giving out around 3 volts DC, so it should be able to light up those diodes. Let's find out. Okay, so starting off with the red LED, it does light it up and quickly showed us a voltage drop and that disappeared. But yeah, so interesting. So it definitely lights up the LED, no problem, but it's having a problem showing us that voltage drop. Now we've got a blue LED. Let's see if we can light that one up. And whoopsie daisy. Yeah, so good gosh, having trouble with my LEDs. But so no trouble lighting that up. Once again, is not displaying any voltage drop whatsoever. We'll try finally with a green LED. And nothing there. Let me just reverse. Wow, it is very, very, very dim. I don't think you can actually see it, but it actually is lighting it up very minutely, but once again, no indicator about the forward voltage drop. So, if you do a lot of LED testing, what have you, probably not the greatest meter in that respect. Okay, we're now in HFE mode, transistor mode, and we're trying to see the gain on this transistor. Unfortunately, I've been playing around with it, and it really is not very stable. So it's showing around 171 every now and then, but it's not giving us any sort of a stable reading. If I put that same transistor, oops, I have to reverse it, into the 830D, you can see it's nice and stable, and it's showing us, yeah, around 200 is the HFE. So yeah, the implementation of the transistor testing mode, this sort of a cylindrical tester is definitely subpar compared to, I really prefer this implementation here where you have this nice sort of parallel inputs for the nodes of the transistor. This style is, you know, much more prone to error and messier. So if you do like to utilize this sort of functionality, I don't think you'll find this transistor tester very good. And in terms of testing the typical household current here, North America around 120 volts, yeah, no worries there. Another neat feature that the 711 incorporates is something called a square wave test signal. Basically, you set the range switch to the square wave position, and theoretically, an output voltage of approximately 5 volts peak to peak with a 50 kilo ohm impedance should be the result. Well, just how good is that square wave? Let's take a look. And we have it hooked up to the little DSO, and as we can see, it's actually a fairly decent square wave. So that looks pretty good to me. This is one of these niche little features that I think is pretty cool to have on any multimeter. And when they can incorporate it into one of these El Cheapo meters, for me, that's sizzle, that's big bang for the buck. So I like it. Something else worth pointing out as well is the fact that there is no tilt stand or standing bail with this meter. So, yeah, no can do. But that being said, you do have that nice bright, clear display, so it's pretty easy on the eyes, even when it's just flat on the ground. Okay, coming up next, gonna take this guy apart and take a look on the inside. Taking a look on the inside, we have our star of the show right in the middle here. On the left is another 830 style clone, as well as on the right. So in terms of the input protection itself, you can see how they can vary. On the far left here, this is an 830D. You see there is no current shunt. Instead they're using a resettable fuse. Here we have a nice long current shunt, as well as on the far right over here, the same utilization. Once again, they are all running the same style cob. I believe it's the ICL7106. That's basically your AD converter, LC driver. You see this on a lot of inexpensive DMMs, so it's a super popular chip for these low-end meters. On the 711 as well, you can tell you're getting a little more PCB for your money than your standard clone. And you know, that can help in terms of stability as well. Temperature and all these other equations do factor in. So the fact that your component board is literally twice the size is probably a good thing. And as well, the display, as you can tell, literally 3 times the size. Hey, somebody even wrote a number 3, and that wasn't me. But yeah, it's literally triple the size of your standard 830 clone. So that also means the zebra strip right over here that is extending the entire length of that PCB is really long compared to the minute one here on the other clone. So yeah, good size display and nice size PCB. So in terms of the input protection on the milliamp side of things, we do have this one fuse, this 500 milliamp fuse, and we can verify that just by running a continuity. You'll have the negative probe into the milliamp / voltage range, and that's the one downside as well with these meters. Most of them, they do share the milliamp input with the voltage. But in terms of the input protection on the milliamp, that is it. If we move up to the current side of things, once again, all we have is the current shunt. There is no other protection. And once again, this is an El Cheapo multimeter, so in terms of input protection, you really can't expect a whole heck of a lot. I mean, we're talking $10 here. So, but that being said, compared to other cheapy multimeters I've seen, I have to say it's not that bad. So you're not going to be sticking this into anything super high voltage. I would definitely not recommend it, but for bench electronics, what have you, I don't see any problem. One other thing I'll point out is there is one lonely PTC here at the top of the PCB, and for the life of me I was following it and I cannot find where that PTC is going. I would have thought maybe it was doing some sort of protection on the voltage range, but it doesn't appear to be the case. So it is a mystery PTC at this point in time. Other than the input protection, if we take a look, we have a good size speaker, a piezo, right here. And once again, there is no backlight on this meter, so there's no LEDs. Quite compact. We do have the daughter riser board here, so that is making a little bit more space in terms of the overall dynamics of the board. So generally speaking, yeah, it looks pretty good. If we just take a little peek to the right here, we can see you can take this protection even on a cheap meter and take it up a notch. Once again, here we have some diode clamping going on, as well as your fuse, and we have a couple PTCs. This is on the voltage side of things with this meter. Bigger PTC, what have you. So even though they are cheap meters, there is definitely room for play, and yeah, sometimes you can actually be surprised with what you see. Coming up, closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the PDM-711. I really like it. It's a good, cheap multimeter. It's almost the ultimate expression of an El Cheapo multimeter. It's cheap, inexpensive, but yet it actually does work, and it does some things pretty darn well. Now, besides what the box says, it does not come with temperature. Yes, there is some models that do, but in this particular case, it does not. But what does it come with? It does have that really nice color-coded display, which I like. It makes things easy on the eyes. And speaking of easy on the eyes, look at the size of that display. Compared to your typical 830 clone, which is a minute-looking display, the fact that these meters generally don't ship with a backlight, having that gorgeous, big, huge display is a definite plus. In terms of ranges, maybe they're not the greatest. It only goes up to 2 mega ohm, and it does not do capacitance. That being said, it does do continuity, and it does do it audibly, so there is an audible continuity mode. I like this meter. I think everybody should have 1 or 2 of these cheap 830 clones. Throw them in the car, put them in the toolbox, set and forget. When you need it, it'll be there. Hey, for $10, you can't go wrong. PDM-711 gets a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. Happy 2019, everybody. Remember, it's the year of the pig, so good luck to everyone. It should be a great, great year. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, keep on testing.